Hello, welcome to the Knife Yak channel. Today I'd like to show you the Wharncliffe blades in my knife collection. This is pretty much it. I think this is all of them. There may be one I've forgotten about, but you'll notice they're all Spydercos, including this Spyderco bird. So I'm a big fan of Spyderco knives, and I'm also a big fan of Spyderco Wharncliffes. So let's get started. Of these knives, the first one I acquired is this one. This is the Spyderco Canis. It's C-A-N-I-S. It's like the Latin word for dog. I'm not sure why they call it that, but this is a very interesting blade. You'll notice it has some interesting grinds. This swedge up here in the top part of the blade. This knife was designed by Kelly McCann, who is an expert in security and combat and things like that. The knife is actually designed for self-defense, and the blade shape is well suited for that. If you're familiar with Michael Janich's teachings on the utility of Wharncliffe blades for self-defense applications, you can see that this is a good example of that. Even though this is not a Janich design, has a lot of the same principles. You'll notice it has a hollow grind. The steel is S30V, and this is one of the knives that comes from the Taiwan Spyderco factory in Taichung. And this is a very well made knife. The handle is made out of carbon fiber with, I should say it's a carbon fiber over G10 laminate. So the bulk of the handle is actually G10, but there's a thin veneer of carbon fiber. And so it looks like carbon fiber. I don't know if I can get a good angle here, but you get that sort of woven, sort of shimmering kind of optical effect. It's typical of carbon fiber, and but otherwise it feels like G10. So this is textured with it has a peel ply texture that makes it feel kind of like G10, but it looks like carbon fiber. Some people will object to that. I think I'm a little bit torn. I would probably rather if it were just carbon fiber or just G10. In fact, I'm not usually going to pay more for carbon fiber, so I'd really almost rather that it was just G10, and it would be fine for me, because I don't think of this as being a knife that I'm interested in showing it to people, unless I'm having a real bad day or somebody else is about to have an even worse day. So yeah, take that or leave it. Some people hate the laminate. I don't really object to it. I just don't really need it. So you'll notice the handle is very well shaped. It has a nice swell here. There is no choil in the blade. It's all here in the handle. So it fits into the hand really well. It's very secure. There is some jimping up here, and yeah, I think the interesting blade design has to do with weight reduction. So by hollowing out the spine part, let me see if I can get this close. You can kind of see there, it's actually thinner here, and then it gets wider, and then gives you a nice tip, which has a certain amount of thickness, right, for strength. And this is a pretty good, useful knife. It's a knife I've used for everyday carry, and I've used it for everyday carry tasks. I've used it for cardboard and opening packages. I've even used it for some light gardening to trim wayward branches off of some bushes and things like that. So it's a good all-around knife, although it has the same limitations that you generally associate with Wharncliffes, in that there's no belly. It's all straight, right? So it's a little bit hard to do those kind of rocking cuts that you might, like cutting rope on a flat surface, and maybe some kitchen task. It's not ideal for that, but it's a good all-around daily carry knife in every other respect. So here's another interesting one. This is a Cutlery Shop exclusive. You can tell by the orange handle. So this is a Wharncliffe Paramilitary 2. And you'll notice the point on this one is extremely sharp and pointy. And it's also quite thin at the tip. And if we compare the Canis, you can tell that one of them is quite a bit thicker near the tip. So the Canis is, I think, stronger at the tip. But I think they're both highly effective for their intended purpose. The Cutlery Shop exclusive has the characteristic orange handle, and it also has the CTS XHP blade steel, which many of the Cutlery Shop exclusives do have. This knife is not currently available. I was lucky to get one, and I'm happy to have this in my collection. It's a very excellent knife. So if you like the PM2, maybe you'll like the PM2 Wharncliffe if you can ever find one. Maybe they'll come out with more of those later. I don't know. This is a more recent acquisition, and you've already seen my video content on the Spyderco Micro Jimbo. This is a Michael Janisch design. It's a scaled down version of the Yojimbo. And I won't say a lot about this because I have full reviews on this knife. I've featured it in quite a lot of my video content. So check out my other videos and you'll learn everything you need to know about that one. And you also know, if you've visited my channel before, you know I have the Lil Native, which I've also compared to the Yojimbo, or I should say the Micro Jimbo. So I have featured these prominently in more than one video. If you want to see what this little knife can do, I refer you to my video where I dismantle an enormous cardboard box using this small knife. So you can find it, use the search feature, go to my channel and just do a search for small knife for a big job, or just do a search for Lil Native and you'll find it. So this one is the Bird Robin 2, and it's this is Spyderco's Chinese manufacturer. So Spyderco markets knives under a different brand, and it's called Bird, and you can tell by the odd-shaped opening hole here. That opening hole is actually surprisingly effective. Before I acquired this knife, I didn't think that would work very well as an opening hole because of the shape. That's sort of a comet-shaped hole, but you'll find that it actually works very well, maybe even better than the hole, because is round where it needs to be round, and you can still, it gives you a really nice big and very prominent target for your thumb. So I like this one quite a bit. It has metal liners in nested embedded liners inside the FRN handle, but it's quite strong, seems quite rugged. This is a well-made knife, except for the unusual fact that my particular specimen has a slightly bent blade. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's a little bit of a curve, a side-to-side curve in this blade, and if I hold this to the light and tilt it just right, you can kind of see how the light bends towards the tip, right? It's hard to notice this, but it is just not quite straight. And I contacted Spyderco about this to see if they can help me out with the warranty. But this knife is so cheap that it's not worth sending it back to the factory. And I don't want to pay $10 to send it to them and another $10 for them to send it back to me, because the knife itself is only about $24. And so it'd be better just to buy a different one, right? But for matters of principle, I'd rather not have to buy another one. But I do like this knife a lot. I just wish the blade were straight. So Spyderco, in case you're listening, remember, check your email. Okay. Having said that, I feel a lot better now. Let's talk about these other ones over here. So this is the Endura, Endella, and Delica series, and I have the Wharncliffe in each one. This is the standard Endura 4 with the Wharncliffe blade and the VG10 steel. So that's a very scary looking knife, and sometimes I carry this one as my strong side category 1 knife. Again, refer to my other video where I talk about my daily knife carry philosophy, and I talk about the save the day knife, right? Where you got to make one cut to save your life or to solve some kind of a problem. And this is a knife that fits in that category for me. You all know about the Endura, Endella, Delica series, right? So they have FRN handles. They have embedded steel liners, so they're very strong. And the grip is very secure. They feel good in the hand. And they're good all-around knives. I like them for a variety of reasons. This is the Endella. It's the middle-sized one. This one has the K390 steel, which is not rust-resistant, but has some excellent edge-holding characteristics and is fairly tough as well. Construction is essentially identical to the Endura. It's just a little bit smaller. This one fits my hand perfectly. I love this one, and it's a knife that I often carry. And then we have the Delica. So the Delica Wharncliffe with this kind of turquoise colored handle is what they call a distributor exclusive, meaning that various dealers can get this from whoever their distributor is, and that distributor has the exclusive rights to have their dealers sell this knife. So this one has the S30V steel, and everything about it is pretty much like the other ones in the series. These are made in the Seki City, Japan Spyderco factory, and the quality is very good. And I've used this one a fair amount too. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to spend too much time talking about all of these because I may devote separate videos to the ones of these that I find the most intriguing. Perhaps the next one I'll feature will be the Canis, because I think it has, in some respects, the most interesting features, and I have quite a bit to say about this one. But I don't know, maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't, we'll see. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.